Welcome, fellow survivors, if this is your first time stepping into this world. Here, the ending is never truly an end. Every reader, every choice, every moment matters. Today, we followed Kim Dokja, a man who lived through a story so vast, so impossible that only he could know how the world would unfold. If you're ready, sit back, listen closely, and remember, you are part of the story too. Before we begin, a quick note. This story is inspired by the web novel Omniscient reader's Viewpoint. The events, voices, and narration you're about to hear are my own adaptation. All characters, dialogue, and scenarios have been reimagined for storytelling purposes. Whenever you are ready, let us begin. Omniscient reader's Viewpoint, Epilogue. They say a story only truly ends when the last person stops reading it. If that's true, then I suppose I am condemned to live forever. My name is Kim Dokja. For most of my life, that name was a curse. A label for a privileged only child who had nothing, or a loner who lived in the flickering shadows of a smartphone screen. My only skill was surviving a web novel called 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse. I read all 3,149 chapters. I was the only one who did, and then the world ended. And that story became my reality. The star stream finally went quiet. The dockybus stopped laughing, the constellations faded, and the fables settled into the marrow of my bones. I have been a reader, a king, a demon, and a god. But looking back, I was just a fool who loved the story too much. I remember the smell of the subway car, that stale, recycled air of the Seoul metro. I remember the exact moment the clock struck 7 p.m. and the paid service began. Everything changed in a heartbeat. People I worked with for years, forced to kill each other to prove their right to exist. I saw horror in their eyes, but in mine, something else. A terrifying, shameful sense of relief. For the first time in my life, I knew what to do. I knew the rules because I had read the manual, and then I met him. Yoo Jung-hyuk, the protagonist. A man who had died hundreds of times, carrying the weight of 1,000 tragedies in his narrow eyes. I had spent 3,000 chapters watching him, hating him, and pitying him. But now, standing before him was like standing before a sun that had burned out and turned into a black hole. He tried to kill me. He dropped me into the maw of a sea commander. He choked me. He doubted me. But I needed him to reach the end, and though he'd never admit it, he needed a reader to make his suffering mean something as the scenarios progressed. The world became a mosaic of blood and ink. We fought through the disasters of Seoul, the halls of the underworld, and the bureaucracy of the great fables. I look back at the people who walked with me. Han Soo-young, the plagiarist who understood the weight of a sentence. Shin Yu-sung and Lee Gil-young, children who grew up too fast. Jung Hee-won and Lee Hyun-sung, the sword and shield who kept my soul intact. We weren't just a party, we were a fable. We shared breath, trauma, and a dream. A world where no one had to be a character anymore. I lied to them. I told them I had a plan. I told them I'd be fine. I sacrificed myself not only once but so many times that I lost count. This is because that is what a reader does. They always stay behind to finish the book, while the characters move on. I thought I was saving them, but I was just breaking their hearts. The final scenario wasn't a battle of swords. It was a battle of perspectives. I reached the wall. I saw the truth behind the star stream. I saw the most ancient dream. The entity whose very observation kept our universe alive, and when I looked into the mirror of the universe, I didn't see a monster. I saw a young boy, a lonely, bruised child, sitting in a dark room, reading a story just to survive. All the blood, all the chaos, all the stars born from the imagination of a child who just wanted the story not to end. I realized then I couldn't leave that child alone. To save my friends, to give them the conclusion they deserved, I had to become what I hated. I had to stay in the darkness so they could live in the light. I split my soul into fragments. I scattered myself across the world lines. I became the oldest dream, watching over every reality, ensuring the story keeps turning. So why am I telling you this now? This is because I am tired of being the only one watching. I've lived through the 1,862nd turn, the 1,863rd, and the final 1,864th turn. I've seen stars die and dawn rise over a rebuilt soul. I've felt the warmth of a house where my companions wait, even if I am only a ghost, a memory, a few lines of text. If you hear this, it means the fable is still alive. It means my existence wasn't just a tragedy. It was a bridge to you. You may feel like a loner on the subway, wondering if your life has meaning. But remember, you are the reader, as long as you read the characters' lives. As long as you remember the world does not end. My name is Kim Dokja, an ordinary man who loved a story too much. The scenarios are now over. The wall is now broken. And finally, I am ready to be part of the story again. Thank you for listening. This story was for you. And so the epilogue ends. But the journey isn't over. Episode 1 is waiting, where everything truly begins, where we see the world through Kim Dokja's eyes and witness how a single reader can change everything. I want to hear from you. Which part of Dokja's journey inspired you the most? What moment made your heart ache, or when did it fill with hope? Please leave a comment so everyone can read it. If this story moved you, if you felt the weight of survival, the heartbreak, the triumph, then like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Episode 1 is next. Every choice, every twist, every life-changing moment. Step into the story. Be the reader, and maybe, just maybe, you'll see what it truly means to survive. Thank you, and I'll see you in episode 1.